Welcome back to the news broadcast on 24 Hours channel. First and foremost, we would like to extend our greeting and well wishes to all of you listeners who have always accompanied and support us along with our editorial team. We look forward to receiving your feedback and suggestions which will further motivate us to deliver the best and most accurate information on the latest development in the pandemic situation, national and international news, and the hottest story of the past 24 hours. And now it's time for today's new update for you.
90 million people received joyful news as the Vietnamese government firmly rejects meeting with the Chinese Prime Minister for border opening negotiations. Ladies and gentlemen, the Vietnamese government has received information from the Chinese embassy that the Chinese Prime Minister intends to visit Vietnam in the next 3 days. The reasons stated are the long-standing brotherly relationship and the desire to assist Vietnam economically. But the final reason is for Vietnam to open its borders to accommodate a wave of Chinese refugees. Ladies and gentlemen, this is truly absurd. A country that has continuously encroached upon our land, an enemy of ours, now has the audacity to come to Vietnam and ask for refuge for their people. It is unbearable to listen to the delusional statements of our ill-intentioned neighbor. It has been recently revealed that President Xi Jinping personally instructed Prime Minister Li Keqiang to visit Vietnam and demand the opening of the border to accommodate the influx of Chinese refugees. As a result, the number of Chinese people arriving at the Vietnam border yesterday reached 27 million. Due to the Vietnamese government's firm stance of not allowing Chinese people into Vietnamese territory, this number continues to increase every day. Recently, President Xi Jinping lost his composure and issued a secret order, sending Prime Minister Li Keqiang to Vietnam to pressure Vietnam into opening the border. It is known that the Chinese Prime Minister is scheduled to visit Vietnam in the next 3 days. Xi Jinping declared that if the Vietnamese government continues to refuse to open the border, China will respond forcefully and take punitive measures against Vietnam. Xi Jinping claims that Vietnam is a good neighbor and a blood relative of China, urging Vietnam to embrace Chinese refugees. Our two countries are both communist regimes and should support each other. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, after President Xi Jinping's remarks on Chinese CCTV, many people could not remain calm and responded to his statements. Vietnamese citizens were outraged because throughout history, China has only sought to seize our land and dominate Vietnam, never displaying any sibling affection. Therefore, we must be extremely vigilant against the sweet talk of the Chinese Communist Party. Ladies and gentlemen, recently, a video depicting a horrific scene, filmed by an 18-year-old student named Lu Min and posted on China's social media platform Weibo, quickly went viral. The incident occurred yesterday in Tai'an City, Than Tay, when a landslide caused by prolonged heavy rainfall led to the detachment of the soil, which then cascaded down onto several villages at the foot of the mountain. The catastrophe has claimed the lives of at least 120 people, destroyed numerous houses, and buried them deep under layers of rock and soil. Many people are still missing or trapped beneath the earth. Rescue teams are urgently searching for the missing individuals in the rubble. The most tragic case involves the daughter of Wolf Trulock Keen, the spokesperson of the Chinese Ministry of Foreign Affairs, who was among the casualties of this disaster. Tru Vi Tam, an 18-year-old girl, was celebrating her birthday when the landslide occurred, taking her life. It is known that heavy rainfall persisted for 3 hours, equivalent to the amount of rain in an entire month, as the main cause of this tragedy. Typhoon No. 2, which recently passed through the region, exceeded the average monthly rainfall, causing flooding on the streets, sweeping away cars and buses, and leaving long cracks hundreds of meters long on the mountainside in the area. Chairman of Than Tay province stated that this is the worst rainstorm since 1932. The provincial government estimates that at least 180 houses around Chu Sun Hill have been completely wiped out in the rubble, and over 4,200 people have been displaced. Meanwhile, another landslide occurred this morning, forcing many people to evacuate to safer places. Although the residents here are accustomed to storms, they have never experienced such a catastrophe before. Everyone is panicked and worried for their own lives and loved ones. Ladies and gentlemen, The recent natural disasters in China not only burden the living with heavy consequences but also continue to afflict even those who have passed away, as if they are still enduring calamities and disasters. This is an unprecedented event. Yesterday at 4:45 p.m. in Guangdong, a mountainous region in Guangxi province, a horrifying landslide occurred, causing over 1,000 coffins to fall into a nearby river. The most heartbreaking sight was the old coffins crumbling and shattering as they plunged into the ravine. Many bodies were exposed, sending shivers down the spines of those who witnessed it. Photos taken at the scene show that a significant portion of the rock wall collapsed, burying numerous coffins and bodies amidst the chaotic debris, along with layers of soil and rocks reaching a depth of nearly 50 meters. This rare disaster has shocked netizens. Local officials describe it as an unforeseeable catastrophe. Among the thousands of coffins that fell, approximately 300 have been recovered by this evening. The most challenging task is identifying the remains, as they have turned into dry bones and need to be sorted. Severe weather conditions in China persist without respite, with the Chinese sky experiencing continuous 24/7 turmoil reminiscent of the apocalypse. Yesterday morning, Typhoon Haiyan, reaching Category 17 with wind speeds of 220 kilometers per hour, made landfall in Tiananmen Square, Liaoning City, Shandong Province, and other provinces of China, wreaking havoc over the area. It devastated a vast expanse, destroyed 1.4 million homes, and caused significant damage to an international airport. The Tring Namhai building also caught fire from a lightning strike. Thousands of cars were swept away by the floodwaters. Hospitals, schools, train stations, and ports across China had to close and halt operations. Trees were uprooted, the national power grid was knocked out, bridges, roads, power lines, highways, and stations were submerged. Two-thirds of Beijing were plunged into darkness and heavily affected. Millions of Chinese citizens had to pack up and evacuate with their belongings to find safe havens. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a cascade of storms and floods. Currently, President Xi's government is extremely anxious and relentless, as nature continues to unleash violent storms and devastating floods upon China. According to China's central television CCTV, in a weather forecast bulletin at 6:30 am today local time, it was reported that last night and this morning, Typhoon Haiyan caused heavy rain and severe damage to many areas in China, resulting in floods in the upper reaches of the Yangtze and Yellow rivers pouring into the downstream regions more and more, leading to the opening of additional floodgates at the Tamheap Dam. Currently, many areas of China are submerged by 4 to 6 meters of water. Many high-rise buildings now only have their roofs visible above the flood. The Central China Earthquake and Flood Warning Agency is issuing urgent notifications to all government agencies and citizens, urging everyone to find shelter because this afternoon and tonight, especially at midnight and dawn, Typhoon Haiyan will continue to bring gusts of wind up to Category 15, 16, and 17, posing a threat to tall trees being uprooted. Additionally, Chinese authorities have warned that heavy rainfall will continue to pour down on China, especially in the capital Beijing, Tiananmen Square, Shanghai, Guangdong, Guangxi, Hubei, and Jiangsu. The experts predict that the Tamheap Dam, the largest dam in China and the world, will not withstand this tremendous pressure, and if it fails to withstand the devastation caused by Typhoon Haiyan, it will collapse at any moment. When it collapses, it will submerge almost the entire country of China into the open sea, resulting in the eradication of Beijing. President Xi's government has issued an urgent announcement to mobilize 17 battalions and emergency response teams to rescue the Tamheap Dam and control the water flow in the Yangtze River. The alternating heavy rain, thunderstorms, storms, floods, tornadoes, earthquakes, continuously tormenting Beijing have made China's situation worse than ever before. This is considered as a karmic retribution that was predestined for China after committing countless crimes against the world. Many people are praying for the Chinese people, believing that those deserving punishment under the law of karma are the Communist Party of China and Xi Jinping himself, not the innocent citizens. Ladies and gentlemen, currently, the authorities are sealing off many areas in China because the levees surrounding the Yangtze River have breached. Local authorities state that urgent evacuation of residents is necessary, as there is a high possibility of flash floods and mudslides occurring again. According to the South China Morning Post, one of China's famous newspapers, astonishing images of Typhoon Haiyan have left China in shock, as its cascading waterfalls from the sky have caused flooding in many southern provinces. Additionally, many provinces in the northern region have also been swept away by floods. Chinese residents have witnessed an overwhelming sight as a water cascade appears to be flowing backward during Typhoon Haiyan. The Chinese newspaper describes it in detail. Typhoon Haiyan brings powerful winds up to Category 17, with wind speeds exceeding 221 kilometers per hour at its center, making landfall in the capital Beijing and several other provinces, including Jiangsu. According to the China National Meteorological Hydrological Forecasting Center, Typhoon Haiyan is the second typhoon to hit China in 2023. Since the beginning of the month, over 6 million people have been urgently evacuated from areas at high risk of severe flooding due to heavy rains and strong gusts of wind affecting the country's eastern coastal areas. The Meteorological and Hydrological Agency of Jiangsu Province has issued urgent warnings to towns and cities throughout the province.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's concluded today's news. We sincerely thank you and all the viewers for following our broadcast. We wish you and your families good health and happiness. If you enjoyed our program, please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon in the top right corner of the screen to stay updated with the latest news that we will be bringing to you. And now, goodbye and see you again.